We're in the NRA booth in Las Vegas. We're at SHOT Show, and this is Jason Redman. As you can see on his lapel, Purple Heart, former Navy SEAL. Jason, you have a book here, TheTrident, The Forging and Reforging of a Navy SEAL Leader. First of all, thank you so much for your time here on NRA News.
Cameron, honored to be here. I mean, what an amazing event for the SHOT Show, NRA being out here, so honored to be here.
All right, so you're a wounded warrior. If you wouldn't mind, could you share exactly what happened to you and how you got your Purple Heart?
So we were operating in the Al-Anbar province of Iraq in 2007. Things had really heated up out there, really doing God and country work out there, taking out some very, very high-level individuals. Took down a target one night going after one of these individuals. They maneuvered to another location, and I took my team to try and move on them, but they had actually pre-staged an ambush, and we walked into it. So it turned into a big gunfight. Myself, two other members of my team were pretty severely hit, and thankfully we had an Air Force AC-130 assets overhead that brought in fire mission, closest fire mission of the entire Iraq war. And it enabled us to get out of there. We brought all our guys home alive, and there wasn't anybody left from the enemy to tell stories.
We talked before we got on camera about your time at Bethesda, recuperating. Talk about the healing process.
You know, to be severely wounded, it's a really interesting process. I mean, you go from one day you're this warrior out on the battlefield, and suddenly you find yourself in a bed, missing limbs, disfigured, not able to walk. And it's a real tough thing to overcome mentally. But really, at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. It is a mental commitment to say, I'm not going to give in to this. I'm going to overcome this. You know, I'm a warrior. Unfortunately, this is part of what happens sometimes. And then you just drive forward. You get that positive mindset, and you say, okay, you know, I was leading before on the battlefield. Now I'm going to lead from this hospital bed. And I'm going to raise up the people around me and set the example. And that's exactly what I did. And a lot of wounded warriors are doing the same thing.
When you say a lot, I'm sure there's some wounded warriors who just give up. I mean, we've seen some horrific stories, and I'm sure you talk to a lot of them. And you are, of course, an inspiration to the people who say, "I can't go on." I mean, when you consider your wounds and what you went through, you told me it was a 4-year process before you were 100% to where you are now. What do you say to your fellow wounded warriors? Say, "Man, you can do this. You just try it."
I say to them, it's always darkest before the dawn, and it's real easy to slip down that hole and start to get into that downward spiral. But you can never go back and change the past. All you can do is drive forward and shape your future. You know, the mark of a man is not found in his past, but how he overcomes adversity and shapes his future. And that's what I tell them. It's on them. It's that mental commitment to drive forward, put one foot in front of the other, and live your life. I mean, you may not be able to live it in exactly the same manner you did before, but the only thing that's stopping you from being successful, stopping you from getting out and enjoying life is you. So once you make that commitment to say, okay, I'm going to do this, sky's the limit. You can do anything. I mean, my nonprofit, we take wounded warriors. We've taken quadruple amputees. We've taken quadriplegics. We've taken blind wounded warriors skydiving, and just to show them that there's nothing they can't do, and that's the mindset. That's what they need, and there's a lot of warriors out there that have it. There's some that just need a little push to realize they still have it.
I mean, when you say the word quadruplegic, it gives me chills just to imagine that. What kind of things do you do for a quadruplegic? Like, you know, what do you do to get them out, and what events and activities can you provide for them?
You know, there's all kinds of great organizations doing good things. For us, ours is skydiving. We also have a motorcycle ride. I mean, there's different things. You just got to work with that individual. What are they looking for? A lot of guys are looking to go hunting. A lot of guys want to go shooting. There's all kinds of platforms that we can accommodate with a quadriplegic. You know, maybe it's getting them out with a camera and these different systems where, okay, it's lined up and he shoots, takes down the target. So really it's working with them. And in life, you know, it's your mind that makes everything exciting. So as long as guys still have the mental faculties, nothing else matters. You know, you can still get out and enjoy life, and that's what it's about. And that's what we owe to these wounded warriors that are out there.
Let's sell some books too. Hold up the book one more time. TheTrident, The Forging and Reforging of a Navy SEAL Leader. Beyond what we just talked about here, and by the way, it's got an endorsement by Marcus Luttrell, Lone Survivor. What an incredible story about that movie, by the way. What's in the book that would tell us why people should buy your book?
So this is an amazing book. It's supported by a lot of the Naval Special Warfare leadership. This book has something for everybody. If you're looking for a book on combat, you want some intense combat situations, it's in there, both in Iraq and Afghanistan. If you're looking for motivation and inspiration, it's in there. It's a book on leadership. It's a book on overcoming adversity. And believe it or not, it's a love story. It's the story of how I met my wife and how she supported me all through the military and how she became my best nurse and support after I was severely wounded. So it's a great tribute to all the military wives out there who support all of us veterans that are going forward to fight our nation's wars.
Yeah, you know, we often forget the sacrifices of military families, wives and children. So I'm glad that you mentioned that. Let's wrap up here, but let's just talking about, you know, we're in this SHOT Show right now, and there's a lot of people who hate pretty much everything that's in here with shooting and guns and bullets. But to a company, to a person, it's very patriotic, God-loving, God-fearing Americans and people from around the world even who support the military like nobody's business. Talk about the respect that you get from when you walk around here. I'm sure you get unbelievable respect that you deserve. Talk about this community and talk about this industry when in terms of wounded warriors and how they help you.
It's been incredible. I mean, all the business around here, I mean, they work with the military, they work with patriotic American citizens who believe in the principles of freedom that built this country. That's what I fought for, you know? So it's amazing to me just the caliber of individuals, the caliber of countries that truly believe in what built this country, and they believe in the sacrifice that built this country that all of us fought for, all of us that, you know, went forward and bled, and even some of us, some of my brothers who made that ultimate sacrifice. So it's a pretty amazing thing to be here. I think all Americans need to recognize that, you know, we live in a country where it's one word is built around this nation, and that's freedom. So you should have the freedom to make the decisions. If you want to carry a gun, you're doing it safely, you should have the ability to do it. If you believe in something else, you should have the ability to follow those beliefs as long as it doesn't impact on other citizens around you. That's what I fought for. I may not agree with your views, but freedom gives you the right to be able to stand behind them.
It's amazing. It's so good to talk to you, sir. Give us information about how to help and reach your foundation.
So Wounded Wear, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, woundedwear.org. You can go there. We accept, obviously, direct donations. We're always looking for corporate sponsors that either want to donate, they want to get involved on a sponsorship level with us, or just donate items. And then bigger than that, it's just getting out and supporting your veterans. Wounded Wear is one organization. There are lots out there doing good things. You know, I tell people all the time, one of our slogans is, what have you done for your country lately? And it doesn't mean you have to serve in the military to do that. There's lots of ways to give back to this nation. And if it's at the most basic level of just raising your children to understand there was tremendous sacrifice that built this country into what it is. And we need to honor it, recognize it, and continue raising the awareness of all those who made that sacrifice.
Right, hold up the book one more time. Jason Redman, the author of TheTrident, The Forging and Reforging of a Navy SEAL Leader. As we see in your lapel, the Purple Heart recipient. And honestly, you know, I've talked to a lot of people. It's an absolute honor to talk to you, sir. And thank you for your service to our country, and thank you for what you're doing for people going forward.
Cameron, honored to be here. Thanks for all the NRA is doing. All of you out there, keep fighting for our Second Amendment rights.